Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my must-have highlighters from the drugstore. If you are a highlighter lover on a budget, or even if you're not, these are not just good for the drugstore, these are just really amazing highlighters, drugstore or high-end. If you're new here, welcome. This is a channel dedicated to all drugstore makeup and skincare. So if that interests you, then definitely subscribe while you're here. I would love to have you. I will also link down below all of the videos that I've done so far in my Best of the Drugstore series in 2020 in case you missed them. And like I said, make sure you're subscribed to get alerts for when I post additional categories. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the best drugstore highlighters. So the first one I'm going to mention is the only liquid highlighter in the video, and it's the Revlon SkinLights Face Glow Illuminator. I have mine in the shade 300 Sunrise Luster. It also comes in a deeper, more bronzy shade. This can be used on its own as a liquid highlight, but it can also be used as a primer. If you're someone that wants a really radiant finish to your foundation, you could use this as a primer. I personally would recommend maybe mixing this with another primer to add some luminosity, because I think this all over your face would be kind of intense. But you can definitely use this in some way, shape, or form as a primer. And you can also mix it in with other products like a liquid blush, a liquid bronzer, and add some luminosity to those products. So I really like how usable this is and how versatile it is. And it's the most natural skin-like out of the bunch, and I think that's because it's a cream product. So I'm just going to apply some. I'm not wearing any highlighter at the moment so that I can demo a few of these. I'm just going to put some on the back of my hand here and use my trusty contour brush by Real Techniques to apply. So I just kind of dab it on the back of my hand, and then again with dabbing motions, layer it on top of my makeup. I love that you can layer this on top of powder products. You can go ahead and set your face and do your highlight kind of as your last step, even though it is a cream-based product. It really melts into the skin and looks so incredibly natural. This would be amazing for bridal makeup because it just makes you look like you're glowing. It's very timeless. In case the really intense blingy highlighter goes out of style one day, this won't, because it really just highlights the high points of your face. If you only use a little bit, it's so natural. I used a decent amount, and you can definitely see the highlight, but it just melts into the skin. It's really daytime friendly. It's not gonna look like a powder highlight sitting on top of your skin. It's gonna blend in with the rest of your makeup seamlessly. It reminds me so much of the Becca liquid highlighters, and I absolutely love those. I would say I love this just as much. All right, next up is not gonna be a surprise to anyone that's watched my channel for any amount of time. This one is the priciest of the bunch. It's $13, but it does come as a palette with 3 different shades, and it is the Flower Beauty Shimmer and Strobe highlighting palette. The thing I love about this palette is that all 3 of the shades are usable. A lot of times when you see highlighting palettes, you kind of buy the whole palette to use 1 or 2 of the shades, but I use every single one of these shades often. It actually also comes with a brush, which is nice in case you don't have a highlighting brush. I don't know if I tossed it or if I lost it, but it wasn't a brush that I reached for very often. But if you're someone that's maybe newer to makeup and building your brush collection, it's really nice that this comes with one you can use. The formula on these is unlike any other highlighter I have ever tried. It feels like actual silk. And when I did a little bit of digging for this video, I found out why. So apparently these are formulated with a really high water content, and then they're triple pressed to make sure that all of the water is out, which leaves this velvety, lightweight, super silky texture. Those of you that have this highlight, you know what I'm talking about. It just feels like butter. So just to show you the intensity of these shades, I'm going to use this Wet n Wild brush. This is my favorite highlighting brush, and dip into probably my most frequently used shade, which is this first one right here. And I'm going to layer it over the cream highlight. And this is just a good strategy for those of you that want your highlight to last longer, or you want a more intense highlight. Layering a cream highlight and a powder highlight will definitely do that for you. So I'm just gonna, again, layer it right on top of where I have the cream formula. And you can see this just added another level. So if you compare this side with the Flower Beauty on top, this side with just the Revlon, you can see just how much more intense that is. If you are a highlight lover, this needs to be in your collection. All right, next up is actually another palette. I didn't realize how many palettes I have in this video. I just like having more than one option when it comes to highlight. But it's the Essence Pure Nude highlighting palette. I have been obsessed with this palette ever since I purchased it, and I have the Pure Nude version. They also have a Sunlight version, which has deeper shades for deeper skin tones. So if you have a deeper skin tone than me, I would highly recommend that one because it's the same formula. And this was inspired, as the name suggests, by their cult favorite classic, which is the Essence Pure Nude Baked highlighter, which is again one of the best highlighters at the drugstore. But if I'm comparing levels of intensity, I would say so far the Revlon one is the most natural, the Flower Beauty is the most intense, and then this is somewhere in the middle. It's definitely going to give you a noticeable highlight, but it's going to melt into the skin and give off more of that candlelit effect than the Flower Beauty one, which is a lot more intense. So the really sad thing about this one is that I dropped it. Well, my daughter dropped it. Let's blame the 1-year-old. But it fell on the floor and these two shades broke. Luckily, there's enough to where I can still use them. But this one, it was my favorite anyway, so at least that one didn't break. But I was so bummed because I love this palette, so just don't drop it if you get this. It does come with a nice big mirror, which is nice. And the 4 shades, even though you can't totally see them, this is the lightest, most kind of champagne-y color. This one is like a lilac purpley color, but it's very, very wearable. This one leans more golden. It's like a golden champagne. And then this one is more of like the bronzy color. So all kind of shades of highlight that I would reach for. So I'm going to clean off that Wet n Wild brush. And to switch things up, I'm going to go for this lilac color right here and apply that to my other cheek so you can kind of see the difference. Keep in mind, I'm layering this over a cream highlight, so they're going to be more intense than they would on their own. But you can kind of see the difference between this side and this side. More of a candlelit glow, more of a blingy glow. This shade layers nicely. If you want to build it up even more, you can, but I like that on first pass it's as soft as you want it to be. Again, all shades are super usable, no glitter, silky smooth, not as silky as the Flower Beauty one, but still a very finely milled powder. All right, next up is yet another highlighting palette. And this one is by e.l.f. This is the Glow, Gleam, and Beam highlighting palette. If you saw my recent video where I said I didn't love the new Retro Paradise highlighter, that's because it didn't perform as well as the highlighters in this palette, and they're the same price. That one highlighter in the Retro Paradise line is $10, and so is this one, and you get a lot more options and a lot more product. So in this palette, you have 3 different formulas. This white shade is a glitter. These 2 shades are shimmers, very similar to the Essence Pure Nude shimmers. They're more of that soft candlelit glow. And then you have 3 metallic shades, and these are more of like a blingy highlight. They'll give you more of the level of intensity as like the Flower Beauty one. Again, not as silky smooth as the Flower Beauty one because nothing is. I like that you have all those formulas in the same palette because you can create so many different looks. You can have softer looks, you can have more intense glam looks, and you even have a bit of glitter here to really spice things up. That's probably what I reach for the least, but it's nice to know it's there. You can also layer, so you can layer one of the shimmers with one of the metallics to really get things going. I don't personally do that, but if you like a super intense See From Outer Space highlight, that's something that would definitely work for that. I'm gonna clean that eyeshadow brush off again and just go for this shade right here and go down the bridge of my nose with that so you can see it in action. And a little bit right here. I started off the video with no glow, but look at me now. So again, love the formula on this, love the versatility of the palette and the price point. All right, last but not least is another highlighter from the drugstore that I cannot seem to find anywhere in my house. Those of you that have been following me for a while know that my daughter likes to take things from my makeup room or just in general and hide them in the most bizarre places. So I'll find it probably in 2 weeks. If I happen to find it before this video goes up, I will insert swatches and show you guys a close-up of the product. If not, you'll see it right up here. But it is the Milani kind of duo highlighters. They are 4 different shades to choose from. They retail for $12. And the way that they're marketed is that one side is a cream and the other side is a powder. I don't know if it was just the one that I got, but in my experience, neither side was cream. One was a more finely milled, softer powder, very similar to like the shimmer shades in that e.l.f. one. And the other was a little bit more coarse, a little bit more intense, sort of like the metallic ones on the e.l.f. one I just talked about. So definitely 2 different formulas, but neither of them felt like a cream. That said, they are a beautiful highlight, specifically the side that claims to be a cream. So beautiful and silky and finely milled. I would say the silkiness reminds me of the Flower Beauty one, but the color payoff reminds me more of like the Essence Pure Nude highlight. It's a little bit more understated, a little bit more candlelit, and definitely the one I reach for the most out of the 2 sides. Again, they claim you can use the cream side for a softer highlight, you can use the powder side for a more intense highlight, or you can layer the 2 for a super intense highlight. And I just love that there are options for whatever you like in your makeup. They perform as well as any high-end highlighter I have ever tried, and I have tried quite a few, so I highly recommend those. I wish that I could find it so that I could show you guys, but if I can't find it, I'm gonna be right back to that Ulta Drive Up and I'm gonna be getting another one. So that is gonna be it for this video. I really hope you guys found it helpful. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up and let me know what top 5 in the comments below you wanna see next. Also, let me know what your favorite drugstore highlighter is. I love hearing everyone's favorites so that we can share it with each other and kind of just build this drugstore loving community. Don't forget to subscribe while you're here, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.